Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2, the sequel to the best video game ever made, ever in the history of forever, that is not called Katamari Damacy. So, last time, we did a lot of, story stuff, intro stuff. Yay, it was fun. There were a lot of people talking to us. Now, we're going to grab a couple of items, and then we're going to actually start our journey for realsies. So there's a little spot here where you can hop off a couple times. Pretty handy. And not a huge surprise for anybody who's ever played the first Dark Souls. So we get a Morning Star and a Cleric's Sacred Chime. And the chime will take the place of a talisman in this game. They're going to be chimes, I guess. Then we get binoculars here. So we now have a decent-ish weapon that we can't wield. And a Cleric's Talisman, which we don't have any spells that we can cast or anything like that, so it doesn't really matter yet, but hooray, we have stuff. I also leveled up once in the last video, and I put a point into my strength. I now am kind of rethinking that. I think I want a point into dexterity instead. Although I want one more point in strength as well. We'll deal with that soon, very soon. I need to get over to a better weapon, and I'll be talking about why kind of as we go. Bound hand axe, 15 strength, which is an easy-ish requirement to overcome. 7 dexterity. We need to get that 7th dexterity point. The Morning Star has the same stat requirements. And like I said, it weighs the Morning Star weighs half a pound more, but it has a lot more physical attack power than the axe. Both of them cause bleeding, though, which is interesting. So we'll have a couple of options available to us once we can get a few additional levels. So the big reason I want to get another weapon, or the big reason I want to level up and get just, one more point into dexterity and a few more points into strength. And that needs to happen, immediately, as soon as we can get that to happen. The reason for that is because durability. Your weapons and armor and things are much more prone to breaking in this game compared to the first game, from what I've seen. Oh man, those white shadows from other people playing the game, those are terrifying. Also, we need to go through this kind of quickly after you pull that lever, because the gate doesn't go all the way up. It's an interesting touch. Yes, weapon durability. It is a bit of a problem, and honestly, the first time I was playing, I wasn't really paying attention to my weapon durability, and I actually broke the dagger that I was using and didn't have the dexterity to wield any other weapons, so I was kind of SOL, and had to use my fists to kind of grind some enemies and get some souls before I could actually wield one of the other weapons I had. It was pretty awful. That's a terrifying jump we just made there. But we got some extra souls, got another homeward bone, kind of loading up on that. So this is our first area. Forest of Fallen Giants. And then that's the passageway back up / down if we didn't take the jump. There's so many bloodstains. There's so many people that are dying here. Oh. Of course, I made the mistake of running and used up all my stamina. Our stamina is also a high priority. Our HP is a very high priority for raising. I want to play as a cleric, so faith and attunements, so that we can, get some attunement slots and actually equip some spells. Also going to be high priority. Buying spells with our souls, high priority. We have so many things that we need to do with our souls as we get them. It's kind of ridiculous. There's a whole heck of a lot that needs to happen, and not much of it is going to happen, at least not right away. So I'm going to get my shield back out. It doesn't block a lot of damage, 75% though. I mean, that's not awful. Oh, and then I forgot to equip our Estus flask that we got, which we have 2 of. We turned in an Estus shard thing, and that gave us a 2nd Estus flask, which will be handy. One other thing that you're going to notice when I use the Estus flask Our health doesn't go up instantly, but it scrolls up fairly quick. So, holy cow, look at that. There's a summon sign. We could actually get a person to join us here. That's kind of cool. I don't know that I'm ready to summon a person yet. Okay, so, weapon durability. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk about that. So if you look over in the bottom left-hand corner where you see my items, you see my shield on the left, you can see my dagger on the right, you can see my Estus Flask and Life Gems, the only things I have equipped on the bottom. I don't have any spells, so there's nothing on the top. All that's the same as the first Dark Souls. If you look, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on YouTube, but there is a little red bar under my shield and a littler red bar under my dagger, because the bar under my dagger is not full. That's your durability. So if I attack things, you know, and use my dagger more, that durability bar will keep going down. Like if I go attack enemies, it'll keep dropping. That's bad, because when it gets all the way empty, the weapon will break and is useless. You cannot use it until you go pay the blacksmith to repair it. And you don't have access to the blacksmith yet, so we're kind of like super screwed if that happens. Now, unlike the first Dark Souls, where every now and then you just remember, like, oh yeah, I should throw 300 souls into my blacksmithing and just repair all my weapons and armor. Doesn't really work that way. You don't have to do that. Just resting at the bonfire, like I did there, and not only did I get my Estus Flask back, so I'm back up to 2, but all my durability is restored on that weapon. So using bonfires is how you restore your durability on weapons, so long as they haven't broken yet. If they have broken, resting at a bonfire will not do any great, amazing recovery. Oh yeah, look at that, we got a backstab. Oh man, these guys are... These are like the first enemy in the game, and they're giving me kind of a hard time. That's a fun backstab animation, though. Now, let's deal with this archer over here. He's kind of being a jerk. And then there's another guy to the right there who's going to try to sneak up behind us when we're fighting the archer, so gotta be aware of that. Oh no! Oh man. Alright, I'm going to use an Estus Flask here real quick. Right now we're level 2, so I'm not expecting us to do great and amazing things, and I'm not expecting us to make a ton of progress here before I need to go back and level up some more. Also, you can see we've lost like maybe, what, a quarter of the durability on our dagger, so I really need to level up a couple times for lots of reasons. One is so that we don't die so easily like we're doing here. And we don't just get wrecked by these things. You know, it'd be nice to actually do an extra little bit of damage to kill some of these enemies quicker, give them less opportunity to hit us back. The best defense in this game is a good offense. But I also really want to level up so that we can wield additional weapons and carry them around with us, so I can have more options. I can cycle between them, and I don't have to worry so much about the durability of my only dagger that I have right now, the only weapon I have. I'm gonna go up here. There's gonna be a bunch of enemies. This is actually kind of dangerous. I feel like I should go back and level up with what I have right now. But I'm gonna try coming up here. There's an archer who's gonna be shooting at us. And then there's gonna be a whole... Yeah, there's like 3 of these guys. Whew, okay. The key to this sort of situation here is just make sure you don't let your... Well, make sure you don't hit that knight guy who's crouching at the base of the tree there. But make sure you don't let your durability run all the way out. Or your stamina bar. Because I gotta... You don't want to get greedy with hits here. Gotta make sure I have enough stamina to be able to raise my shield if and when I need to, and to dodge out of the way if that's what happens. Now this guy right here is actually an enemy. My understanding is that they're kind of like the Black Knights in the first game. They're... Oh, actually that's... Hang on, real quick. Getting sidetracked. Equipment. broken straight sword. So it actually does more damage than the dagger, but more importantly, it has its own durability bar, so we're good on weapons for a little bit. It's not super great. I mean, it's a broken sword. It's about as useful as you would expect from a broken sword, but yeah. Anyway, these guys are kind of like the Black Knights from the first game. They're unique. You kill them once, and they don't respawn in that particular location. We will be coming back here to fight that guy later. He's not going to attack us unless we provoke him. So that'll give us a bit of an opportunity to, you know, kill some of these guys, get some souls, level up a couple times, maybe get some better equipment. Then we'll take him on. And he, from what I understand, like, I'm assuming it's a guaranteed thing. He actually drops a pretty fantastic sword, or he has the one time that I have come here and killed him. There's an item on the bottom right there that I don't really know how to get. Hoping we'll find an opportunity to get that later. In case you missed it, you'll see it on our way back down. Oh, I got greedy and I shouldn't have there. Oh man, this is bad. That axe guy is going to ruin my day. I don't have any more Estus flasks. Alright, so we'll use a life gem here. I'm okay with that. And you'll notice something. Look at how not instantaneous that heal is. That is a slow recovery over time. So that kind of mitigates the idea of like, oh, I'll just load up on a bunch of these consumables and be invincible. Doesn't really work like that. Very slow heal over time. I'm assuming there are better versions of that item, like better life gems. And I'm assuming that they would recover more health and or faster recovery of health. These ones are super slow. Alright, made that jump, didn't die, that's awesome. Short sword and a soul of a lost undead. Let's check that short sword, because like I said, right now, yeah, 10 dexterity to wield that thing. Getting weapons is my highest priority, which means I need at least one more point in my dexterity, and that'll open up some extra options for us. Well, one in dex and one in strength. I'll talk about that once we get there. Okay, so that's all that there was up there, at least as far as I know. Now, we're not going to deal with this White Knight guy right there. So time to go through a fog wall. Hooray! I don't know, this is not going to lead to a boss. Although it does lead to a bunch of bloodstains. That's funny. Ugh. This area. Weakness, locking on. Be wary of left. So if we look in here, just peek, there's a soldier right there. I'm not going to go that way, though. We're going to go around here. And again, Dark Souls, shield up. Jeez. And there's a whole bunch of guys here. I'm gonna just kind of push my way through as many of these as I can, and in fact, I'm not gonna use, well, I'm gonna try to use a life gem without dying. I want to get as many souls as I can before I go back to town. Because I would like to level up a couple times if I have the opportunity to do so. So that could have gone better. Could have gone worse. Could have gone a lot better. There's an item behind the bookshelf here. So we're still well within the realm of stuff that I do know. Stuff that is familiar to me. I'll let you know when we get to the boss. Holy cow! Oh, these guys are new. These guys are... oh, man. These guys are super dangerous. My shield only blocks 75% of the damage that's coming at me, so I do need to make sure I use a life gem there. I only have 8 life gems. And we haven't seen any sort of opportunity to, like, buy more or anything like that. I'm going to switch back to my dagger real quick. So I got to be super careful with using those. Like, I'm very hesitant to use them. But there's a bonfire just a little ways ahead. If we can push just a little bit further, there's a handful of enemies here, and this is where it gets kind of tough. So there's a guy, you can see his legs right up above there. He's going to throw fire bombs at us, and then there's an archer up there. Shouldn't have taken those hits. Oh, and I don't know if we have the durability in our weapon to do this. I'm going to give it a shot, though. Holy cow. Ah, crap. I was hoping I could dodge away from that. I was hoping he'd throw a firebomb instead of swinging his sword. Alright. Other than running past that ogre in the first video, which I was doing more just for fun than anything else, I think that's our first actual legitimate death. So, I'm going to count that as one. I'm going to count the first death as death number 0, because the game hadn't started yet. We hadn't picked our character yet. And also, I just kind of wanted to show... Jeez, this is a lot of these guys. I was just kind of screwing around. I don't know. Your viewer discretion. You guys pick how many deaths you think I've had so far, whether you want that first one to count or not. I say no. That's my vote. But, yeah. Death counters. Get them going. Let's see how this goes. Am I going to turn into a blind run-through of Dark Souls once we get past the first boss? Alright, we picked up hollow infantry helm. Crappy helm. If you read the description, a piece of basic minimal equipment, and worse yet, it's worn and nearly falling apart. Not recommended unless your options are spent. Bad helm. Really bad. Better than the garbage hood that we had equipped. So I'm okay using this for now. And actually, I'm hoping that we get some more pieces of equipment from these other hollows here. That would actually be... Oh, man. That would actually be kind of awesome. Because while that armor is garbage, it's slightly less garbage than what we have equipped right now. Oh, man. It takes so many hits to kill these guys. Oh man, we're wearing through the durability on that sword so quickly. Alright, my goal right now is just to go back, get those souls that I lost this last time I died here. And then we're gonna go level up. Oh, no, no, no! Oh, I really don't want to die. Crap! I tried to dodge. I think my B button's a bit sticky on this controller. That's unfortunate. Alright. New goal. Let's just get, like... I don't know, 500 souls or so, and then we'll head back and try to level up. Oh, this is embarrassing. This is not an area where I should be dying. Dodge. Man, I really gotta do something about my stamina. Like, our stamina is super low. But priorities. Right now, priority 1 is we need better weapons. Stamina and HP and all that other stuff can come later. So I guess this is a good opportunity to talk about one of the other mechanics that has changed between this and the first Dark Souls. Something else that has been introduced from Demon Souls specifically. Although I don't know exactly how that system worked. Like I said, I've never actually played Demon Souls. It's just my understanding that that's where this mechanic kind of came from. Look at our health bar, especially after I use this Estus Flask. Notice how there's that little chunk of gray on the very right tip of it that is not full. As you die, you no longer have a human state and a hollow state. Not explicitly. You have a human state that we were in previously, but as you die, you kind of become more and more hollow, more and more cursed. That's what's happening. So now that I've died twice, we have lost a chunk of our health bar. And as I die more and more and more, we will lose more and more and more of our maximum HP. Temporarily, if we use a human effigy, we'll go back to being human, and we'll get our full HP bar again. But as you die, you lose that. Like, your maximum HP goes down. And it's more or less permanent. Like, it's permanent until we use a human effigy. So that is like just a chunk, like what, 5% or 10% of my health bar or something that is not currently available to us. Alright, so we're gonna go... Oh man, I'm glad that arrow missed me. We're gonna go up here and we're gonna kill that archer again real quick. And then well, we're gonna kill his two buddies first that are standing on the stairs here. Just doing this because we're gonna play it safe now. I got kind of brave and cocky my first run through here. I thought I could make it to that second bonfire. And more importantly, I thought that I'd be able to go get my souls back if anything bad should happen. And lo and behold, something bad happened. Did not get souls back, so this just sucks. That's okay, though. Such is the way of Dark Souls. Alright, killed that guy. We're about at 1,000 souls, so I think that's going to be a good chance for us to head back to town. And there's one more hollow that was asleep on the ground here that we could fight. So we'll clear out this guy before we go back and warp back to town. Hope you guys are prepared to see this area like 3 or 4 more times. Because we are still going to have to work our way past this eventually. But that's good. We're at 1,000 souls exactly. So let's go back. And I have some soul items. Like a soul of a forgotten soldier or whatever. Whatever those things are. Since we're just heading back to town, I'll show you. We'll use some. Soul of the Lost Undead. There we go. So there's 4 of these. So we'll use these right now. That should be about 800 souls. 3 souls of a nameless soldier. I forget how much these give us, but that's going to be like another, yeah, well, 2,400. Holy cow. So we have 4,200 souls now. That is enough to level up a handful of times, which is awesome. So we're going to go do that. And this should make a pretty significant difference for us. So here's our Emerald Herald.
Of the curse. Seek souls. Larger, more powerful souls. Seek the king. That is the only way, lest this land swallow you whole, as it has so many others.
She'll say that every time we talk to her. Oh, excuse me. So I'm not going to go through that every time. We're going to be doing this a lot, because this is how we level up. Okay, so I need 1 more point in dexterity. We need 15 strength. Half of 15 is 8-ish, if you want to round up. So we're with 8. So that's good. That'll actually let me equip some other weapons. Vigor. So if you look over on the right, you'll see there are, you know, when I'm highlighting these different stats over here to level up, there's gray bars you can kind of see highlighting these other things. So like if I boost my intelligence, that will boost those other stats. So if I boosted a whole bunch like that, you'll see it increases my HP a tiny bit, my casting speed a bit, my strength and dexterity attacks have gone up because I boosted my strength and dexterity. You can see, like, this will boost my magic offense, and my fire offense, and my dark offense, and my dark defense, and all those other defenses, and things like that. So it's kind of cool that you can right away just see, like, what these will all impact. So Vigor is HP. Since our HP goes down as we die, it's actually going to be important in this game, much more so than in the first game. in my opinion, to boost our HP so that we can kind of mitigate that HP loss a little bit. So that's good. So I'm going to put a couple points into Vigor now, just to kind of get some of those out of the way. Dexterity, I'm probably going to want to get to 10 or so as quickly as we can, and then just leave it there for the rest of the game. I just want enough dexterity to equip a couple of good items that we're going to find, you know, some good swords and things like that. But then I'm never going to touch that ever again. Once we have the basic requirements for some of these basic weapons, it's going to all go towards faith eventually. Strength is going to be the same way. We need enough strength to wield some decent shields, and we need enough strength to wield some decent weapons. And then that's it. We don't need any more strength. Right now, we have no attunement slots at all. Oops. We have 0 attunement slots, so we have to put a bunch into attunement, like 4 or 5 points or something. We have to get up to like 9 or 10. I forget exactly how much. But we have to put a lot of points in there in order to get a slot. And we don't have any spells yet to put in those attunement slots, so that's kind of something we don't need to worry about immediately, but it is important. I am going to want attunement slots if I'm going to be playing a cleric-type character. Now, another interesting thing here is endurance versus vitality. Endurance now boosts only your stamina, and I guess your physical defense and your poise a little bit. Vitality boosts poison resistance, physical defense, and your equipment load. So they split out equipment load and stamina bar into 2 separate things, as opposed to the first game where they were the same stat. So that made raising that 1 stat in the first game a no-brainer. Raise your stamina because you can move faster, right? You have a higher equipment load, and then also you get more stamina for blocking and dodging and attacking and all that stuff. So that was kind of a no-brainer. It's a very interesting change now because we're eventually going to have to put a lot into our vitality so that we can equip some decent stuff. Right now we don't have any stuff to equip in the first place, so that really doesn't matter yet. Just thought I'd point that out. Faith also, we're going to need to put a lot of points into Faith, because we got to raise our Faith up to like 12 or 14 or something. That's going to be the basic Faith requirement in order to equip our first spell, which will be Heal, our first miracle. We're still a ways away from buying that spell. I don't think we're going to find one laying around, although I could be mistaken. So yeah, that's okay. I'm happy with that. I'm putting 1 into attunement right now. I know we get absolutely no tangible benefit from that, other than that it's just kind of good to raise that when we can, so that it's not as big of a dry spell. You know, when we get... I think we're going to get our miracle before we end up getting the attunement slot, and then we're going to have to just get like 3 or 4 levels and just go into nothing but attunement in order to equip that. This will kind of lessen that harshness a little bit. So I'm okay with that. Raise some of our stats. HP, stamina bar, strength. Good stuff. So, time to talk about the strength thing. This shield will boost 90% of, or will resist 90% of physical damage. That's awesome. It needs 11 strength to wield. I'm okay with the shield that we have right now, partially because I have no other choice. But I am going to want to get up to 11 strength so that we can wield that bound wooden shield pretty soon. That's a pretty high priority. So now we have these other things. So we have the bound hand axe and we have the morning star, and I'm going to equip both of those. And then our third slot's going to be the dagger. Also, we had a ring when we joined our covenant. The blue seal. Increases HP slightly. The way of the blue is not a developed religion. It is a humble prayer that spread naturally amongst those seeking help. When apostles of blue are invaded by dark spirits, they can receive assistance from masters of other worlds. This is for our covenant. If we get invaded, other people can join us and help us fight off the invaders, and they will get rewards for doing so. We might get rewards also, I don't know. I'm going to equip that. It boosts our HP a little bit. There's really no reason not to equip that. I don't know how much it boosts our HP. Probably just a tiny little bit. And we're going to go ahead and warp back to, not to Majula, because that's where we are. Forest of Fallen Giants. There we go. And I'm going to talk about what's going on with these weapons and why I'm equipping them, even though I don't have the strength to actually wield them yet. The way it works in this game is your strength for wielding something is your one-handed strength. So with one hand, we have 8 strength right now. But if we use 2 hands, so you can see on the bottom left corner, you see there's a little red X on my mace indicating that I don't have the strength to wield this thing correctly. But if we use 2 hands, that's 8 strength. The way it works out is more or less 8 strength with each arm. So that's 16 strength. That is enough to actually wield this thing. So if I use 2 hands and no shield, we can actually use this weapon. And same with the bound hand axe that we have. So no shield, although I can block with this thing, and it blocks like 50% of physical damage or something. So, you know, not the worst thing in the world. Better than taking the hit straight on. But yeah, this will actually let me use these weapons for now until we get something that we can use with just one hand. And I'm okay with that, because we can just pull out our shield to block if we need to, and then switch back to two-handed. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really not the worst thing in the world. And so now we have vastly expanded our repertoire, and we have any more things that we can use right now, and don't have to worry so much about the durability of any weapon. We have 3 things. We actually have 4 things, although you can only equip, you can equip 3 weapons in this game. First Dark Souls, you can only equip 2 at a time. Now we can equip 3, so we're good. I think we're good for now. I'm very, very happy with this. Now I would like to be getting some better armor. That would be awesome. Also, notice the incredible increase in the damage that we're dealing now. This is fantastic. We can kill these guys in just a couple of hits instead of like 4 or 5 or whatever it was taking previously. So I'm going to keep killing these guys. Oh no. Okay, phew. I'm going to keep killing all these hollows, even the ones that are a little bit out of my way, just because we need the souls. I really need to keep leveling up. We need to get some faith. We need to have souls on hand for when we get to this next upcoming bonfire, which is really not too far away. But there's going to be a shopkeeper there we can buy some stuff from. So that'll be super duper useful for us. Yeah, this is tremendous. This is making a huge difference for us. Now, I still need to be careful. I still don't want to be greedy or anything like that. So we got to be very careful. I need to keep my Estus flasks. Try to keep my health up. Try not to do anything stupid until we get to the next bonfire. We can do stupid stuff after we get to the next bonfire, but that's kind of my next goal, is I want to get there as quickly as possible. Let's go back up here. We're going to deal with that archer again. Like I said, right now, need souls. So there's 3 guys up here, and they give, what, like 50 souls a pop or something? So that's 150 souls. Not a whole lot, but, you know, nothing to really sneeze at either. And we can kill these guys so much more efficiently. That's really, really great. Makes this not nearly as bad, not nearly as risky as it was previously. My mace durability is down to probably about 60%. That's kind of what that looks like to me. So I'm going to be switching over to the bound hand axe. And then we still have the dagger, and then if in the case of absolute emergency, where we really, really just need any weapon at all equipped, we have that broken sword that I can equip. But this should be fine. This should be more than enough to get us to the next area. I'm going to use my dagger here just because I need to use my shield when we go around this corner, because this guy jumps out at you always, every time. The dagger's nice and equipped to keep him from attacking again. Let's go back to that hand axe. Let's try using this guy. The hand axe is not as strong as the mace, but it's still, you know, a decent weapon. Awesome, we got a life gem from these guys. That's fantastic. Man. Oh, that was rough. I'm going to use a life gem here real quick. Let's see if we can get past this next part without getting wrecked. I'm going to go back to my mace real quick because it will let me kill these guys quickly. There's a lot of enemies up here, so it's very important that we take out as many of these guys as we can. So we have that firebomb guy that's throwing stuff at us. Alright. That worked just fine. This idiot hollow here decided to follow us, so that's fantastic. Oh, dang it. I didn't want to take that hit. Oh no. Oh, jeez. Oh, and I'm out of stamina. Gotta be very, very careful here. Alright. I'm still learning the enemy patterns, and I'm still kind of getting used to that sort of thing. So you're gonna see me taking a lot more stupid hits than I should, and you're gonna see me not doing anywhere near as well in this game as I did in the first Dark Souls. That's okay, it's a learning experience. I'm not as good yet. Awesome, we got a buckler. That's not... I don't think that shield is better than, or maybe not even as good as, the shield that we have right now. And I'm not really using a shield, so it doesn't really matter. I am going to use my Estus Flask right now, before we fight this guy, because we are pretty much at the bonfire. He's the last enemy that we're going to fight before we get to the bonfire. Who's guarding a set of 5 witching urns. Witching urns are basically the same as like fire bombs, except they do magic damage instead of fire. And ta-da! Bonfire. Awesome. We have a lot of souls. Ugh. We have a lot of souls, but instead of going back and leveling up with them, just yet, we're going to talk to this lady first.
Anything. Oh, come now, help an old woman and buy something.
She's crazy. Merchant hag Malentia. Now, she has a couple of interesting things. Another broken sword. Don't care, we already have one of those. An axe that we can't use with one hand. Again, don't really care. That might be nice, but we're about to get a better weapon. Club. Pretty awesome for strength, actually. It scales very, very nicely with strength. That's what the A in the bottom left-hand corner means. It means it has an A ranked scaling. So raising my strength up to, let's say, like 50, hypothetically, I would get more attack power from the club than I would from the hand axe, even though the hand axe has 110 base and the club has 105 base. Hand axe scales very poorly with that stat. And then some gloves. Now, what I'm really after here is the traveling merchant hat. And if you look at this, blah, 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 all sorts of stuff. I'll actually read that. Hat worn by merchants from Lanafir, where blue represents knowledge. Wearing this increases item discovery. Lanafir is the farthest land to the south and follows a strict edict of isolationism. That was surprisingly difficult to say. The rare visitor from Lanafir is always a little odd. Now, the important bit is that very, very, very last line at the bottom. Effect raises item discovery. So I'm going to buy this. 850 souls, well spent in my opinion. We're going to equip that immediately. That will boost our odds of enemies that we kill dropping items. So that will help us tremendously. Now, she also sells some of these other items. Human effigies, life gems, amber herbs, fire bombs, witching urns, throwing knives, a Pharaoh's Lockstone, which she has one of, 4,000 souls, and Lenegrast's Key, or Lenegrast's Key, opens the blacksmith Lenegrast's shop in Majula. So that is the next most important thing for us to buy. She only has one, so if you see the items on them, a lot of shopkeepers, most of their items, if not all of their items, they only have a limited number of them. So, like, once we buy these 10 life gems, I think that's it, and she won't sell any more life gems, ever. Firebombs, witching urns, throwing knives, these don't have numbers, so we can buy as many of these from her as we can afford. As many of those as we want. But yeah, so we need that blacksmith key. Also, for 1,500, she sells Miracle Heal. So, she has a couple of very important things for us to buy. So, we're going to kind of hang out here and explore and probably fight some enemies and get some souls so that we can afford those. Now, the Traveling Merchant Hat is not as good defensively, which is unfortunate because I don't have any other good pieces of equipment yet. But that item discovery boost will actually be very, very helpful. So now I'm just going to run around and kill a bunch of these guys. There's 1,000, so we can afford to buy that key, and I'm actually going to go ahead and buy that before we continue on. And the next is I want to buy... I need 1,500 souls to buy Heal Spell. So we got the key.
Thank you.
Now we can go back and talk to the blacksmith, and we can use him, and we can do stuff. Also, I guess I should point out, down this ladder here, that is where we're actually going to be headed. That's where we progress. And then up these stairs here, there's a locked door. So there's going to be some sort of key that we can find for that later. And I didn't use the bonfire, so that hollow is still going to be dead. So now there's a little bit of stuff that we can explore over here. Try down, but be wary of ambush. A lot of bloodstains, so probably a lot of people just falling off. Also, yeah, there's a hollow there. Oh, of course I miss. Oh, man. Oh, I took way too much damage from all that. Oh, well. I'm probably going to have to use a few life gems to get through this next part. Also, if we go back in there, which we will eventually, that takes us back into that long hallway that we went through, with the firebomb thrower and the archer on the stairs and all that sort of thing. So that'll be our way out here in a bit. First of all, let's make that jump, which is awesome. Human effigy. I'm going to go ahead and use the life gem. I'm going to save my Estus flask because we have some more tougher enemies coming up here shortly. Oh, man. You guys are quick. But he dropped an item. Life gem. Okay, so we got our life gem back. That's a fair trade. My book. So many bloodstains. It's kind of intimidating. There's going to be another item here. I think this is just like a hollow, like a soul. Yeah, soul of lost undead. And a torch. Haven't discussed the torch mechanism yet. Haven't really had a need to. We'll talk about that eventually. And then there's going to be a bunch of these hollows down here. So let's try to kill this guy very quickly before his buddies show up. There we go. Ooh, you dropped something. Throwing knife. Dang it. I'm really hoping we can get some armor from some of these guys, because that crappy armor will be better than what we have right now. I know I keep saying that. Right. Bunch of these guys. There we go. Oh, another throwing knife. I mean, that's good, but not what I want. Killed a bunch of these guys. Now, there's going to be another item over here, I believe. It's a permanent fire of some sort burning right there, which is kind of interesting. I don't want my dagger here. Also, these are... Oh, that was me. You can see me in my creepy, cursed hollowness. No longer human. These statues are interesting. They're very reminiscent of the statues that are left behind when you get cursed in the first Dark Souls. Which is terrifying, because that's one of the worst things ever. So we got another helmet, which is interesting, but kind of sucks, because I don't want a helmet. It's the one thing I'm satisfied with, my helmet. Treasure ahead. Weapon ahead, by the way, dash. Try left. Lots of bloodstains. Lots and lots and lots of bloodstains. And then there's an item there. But more importantly is you get ambushed from behind by this guy. And his buddy. These two actually killed me the first time I played the game, which really, really sucked. But we're okay now, so we can grab this item. There's all this fire, and then that fire explosion from whatever that... What is that? Lizardy snake monster thing? Let's open that door there. Just gonna play it safe here. Fire long sword, that's what we're after. Hurrah for treasure. Hurrah for weapon. You know what? Yeah, I'll rate these both up. I agree. Hurrah for treasure and weapon. Which is the same thing. It's a treasure weapon. Let's get out of here. Let's make sure we're not going to get ambushed by any more of these hollow jerks. I think we're good. I think it's just those two. We're going to check and see what the stat requirements are. So... 9 dexterity and 10 strength. So we're going to shoot for that, and then I think at that point we'll be pretty close to my static final strength and dexterity choices. I think I'm going to shoot for 11 strength, because that'll let me wield the heavier shield that we have that boosts, or that blocks, what, like 90 or 95% of physical damage? 90% I think it was. That'll be awesome. But yeah, that's kind of our goal for strength and dexterity, at least for now, but I don't really see those changing too much in the near future. Kill that guy real quick. Again, I am doing this for experience, for the souls. We need 1,500 to buy that spell, but we also need a bunch to level up. I haven't really decided which of the two is more important right now. I mean, we don't have the attunement slots to use the spell. So maybe that's more important, you know, leveling up, getting those that attunement slot. But at the same time, once we get the attunement slot, we won't have a spell to put in there. So that's kind of a bit of a catch-22. Not insurmountable, just more of a nuisance than anything else. Doesn't give us a clear direction. Every time we level up, we get a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of HP. And then we also have our new weapon, so I think leveling up might be the way to go. I think that's what I'm actually going to focus on here, as soon as we kill this jerk. He's throwing his stupid firebombs. Knock it off. Yeah, you jerk. Holy cow, he dropped a bastard sword. That would be a pretty awesome item, but I seem to recall them being pretty heavy, requiring a lot of strength to wield. So that's probably out of our range. That's okay. So we made some progress. 1,100 souls. Let's see what else we've got here. We'll put us at 1,300. Ah, that was 2,000. You know what, let's go back and let's level up real quick. think right now we're a very low level, so leveling up is going to be the higher priority for me. That sounds right. That feels right.
Bearer of the curse, lest the...
Now the question is, what do we want to level up? If we do this, this will let us wield that fiery longsword. But it doesn't give us much else. I actually think that's good. Because again, a fire longsword should let us do much more damage. And that's a weapon that we're going to be sticking with for a while. And we can wield it with one hand, which is pretty fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy these super heavy weapons, but a weapon that we can wield with one hand, that kind of takes the cake, I think. Can't quite wield the bound wooden shield yet. Yeah, look at that. I like that. Alright, let's give the blacksmith back his shop. And in fact, we can loot the place a little bit. He has a chest in here. Although I believe it just has like a bow or something that we can't really use. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But blacksmith will be available to us soon.
Very good. Now I can get to work. But first, let me set up. Come again later.
Okay. Awesome. So we got the blacksmith. We made a fair bit of progress into the first area. We've leveled up a couple times. We got a fire sword. We have an awesome hat, although the rest of our equipment is garbage. So all in all, I think this is a pretty successful video. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and next time we're going to start pushing our way through the Forest of Fallen Giants and see how far we can go. So thank you for joining me, everybody, and I hope to see you in the next video.